Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Readiness in the Time of the Shift. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about what it feels like to be an empath in a planet that's transitioning. And being an empath is to feel the emotions, thoughts, and ideas that exist in others. For most people who are intuitive and are in that state of consciousness, it is often seen as a curse. Because you walk into a room, you can feel what everyone is feeling, and more importantly, many empaths feel invaded and violated by these thoughts and these feelings, so they cannot shake it. And that sense of disempowerment is terrifying. And most empaths are constantly trying to seek to cleanse and purify themselves and trying to create a wall or boundaries between themselves and what is they feel exists as a projection coming from others trying to penetrate them. But as usual, the picture is much more complicated than the description that I have just given right now. Many empaths may not realize that what they are actually doing is that they are scanning. There exists in the middle of a brain, the amygdala, which happens to be an socially intelligent gland that seeks to chat and converse with the subconscious and the amygdala of everyone else that's around you. And for the people who are empath, that ability is highly developed, but it's not honed and it's not controlled. So many empaths spend their time thinking that they are under attack and they're constantly being invaded, when in fact, in a lot of cases, it's the fact that their amygdala is too chatty and too socially intelligent and is scanning constantly. And some of it is habitual, some of it is actually an addiction to sensing energy, and more important, not only sensing energy, but trying to find clean energy, okay? As opposed to dark energy or energy that's yucky. And this dichotomy of polarity, of existing and trying to constantly pass out what feels clean and nice as opposed to what's dark, becomes a hamster wheel that they cannot get off of, okay? Now, having said this, there is also habitual behavior. For example, if you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you feel a pain in your knee or in your shoulder or on your back that was not there before, most people on the planet will begin, as they're walking, say, I have a pain in my knee or I have a pain in my back. The moment you say this, you claim the pain. Listen carefully. What I do personally is that when I feel a pain or something coming all of a sudden into my body or a sensation of some kind, I actually drop my awareness and consciousness in that part of my body. If it's my knee, my shoulder, it doesn't matter. I go right in that space and I query my higher self. I pose the question, is this coming from me or is it coming from the outside? And depending on, and I wait, depending on what I get intuitively. In other words, did I pull a muscle or am I being invaded by an outside thought? The thing that you need to factor in, it's not just the empath and the intuitive scanning, but it is also about the fact that we live in a world that's inhabited by multiple dimensions and realities. Particularly at the time of the scan, the veils are very thin. There are bleed-throughs coming from the realities that are superimposed in the same space, okay? And all kinds of things are cohabitating and coexisting simultaneously, okay? But if you claim it and you say, I feel X, Y, Z, you actually allow it to go in. Whereas if you begin to ask a question by saying, is this coming from me? or is it coming from somewhere else? Very quickly, you'll be able to discern the provenance of that sensation, particularly if your amygdala is highly skilled in socializing, right? And the moment you get this, you can begin to determine. And if it's not coming from you, by all means, it is your inalienable right to completely say, you're not permitted to come into my body. Get out. This is where boundaries comes in. Okay? Now, if you're the one that's being chatty, that's scanning, this is a different story. You need to understand that if you're chatty and you're constantly scanning other people, the analogy that I can use is that if you see someone walking down the street and you were to run underneath their skirt and put your hand up their skirt and try to grab them, that's what the scanning feels to the person you're trying to scan. You may be doing this unconsciously, but if you're doing this, the person's proper defense, their own higher self, is going to backlash at you, like slap you and tell you, F off. And when that happens, this is the negative backlash or whiplash that a lot of people who are doing this unconsciously get. They feel under attack immediately after they feel someone else's energy. It's because they are scanning without having permission. Laws of non-interference. You don't blend your energy body with anyone else without having permission. So for you to create proper boundary as someone that's an intuitive or an empath becomes essential. You need to understand how subconsciously you're creating this. You may have been born this way, but you need to learn how to hone the skill. You need to understand it, not disown it, not wish you were somebody else. That's not possible. You deal with the card that you were dealt with from birth. You need to understand the knowledge and also actively retrain your subconscious mind on how to do this. And it takes some years of training to get from where you may be now as an empath into a place where you can have actual and proper and healthy boundaries. To separate yourself from others, to know when the outside is coming in, to command and control penetration from the outside. Because as I said, we're living in a world where all kinds of things are happening around us. And if you don't have strong walls and boundaries and everything and anything is coming in, it requires certain kind of training and discernment, and more importantly, a deep level of being neutral. Because the more you're scanning for what's good as opposed to what's bad, or what's clean as opposed to what's negative or what's dark or what's dirty, you have a problem. This requires some time to get to. Now, I'm going to be doing on January 30th a workshop, a 2-hour class in New York City at 40 Exchange Place at the TRS building. For those of you in New York City who want to join us, I'm going to leave the link on the description below, and I will go into the greater details of this discussion for 2 hours, and then you will have a time to ask your own personal take, and I will be there to actually try to answer you so that you can walk out with not only understanding what you're doing, but I'm going to give you the tool sets, what you need to do in order for you to reprogram your subconscious mind, and more importantly, how to now evolve and grow proper and clean boundaries. Now, I'm going to do a prayer to close, if you don't mind. As I sense the fear and the panic of the world, Lord, grant me the detachment not to empath the fear, the strength and resiliency to be a good shepherd, the patience to help humanity navigate the storm. Speak through me and help me find peace, serenity, and reconciliation. Help me show them neutrality as a way to respond to injustices without zealotry and emotional blindness. For responding to fear with fear creates an equally toxic dynamics, balancing fear with wisdom, love, repair, and heal the illusion of separation that divides us. Lord, I am not certain that I can accomplish this task, for I am just a man. But in you, Lord, I completely surrender myself and my mission. Guide my path, O Lord, and fortify me, that I may do your work and help heal humanity. Amen. Please like this video and push on the subscribe button to see more video. I post a video once a week. I look forward to talking to you next week. Many blessings, deep love to all of you. Thank you.